This is Mongo Slade, and today we're going to do a Survivor Series review. But first, hit the like button for me. Also, subscribe unless you're already subscribed, in which case, thank you for being subscribed. So let's get right into it. The kickoff show featured a battle royal. It was a dual branded battle royal. It featured such big stars, such luminaries as Rey Mysterio, The Miz, Murphy, Nakamura, Shinsuke Nakamura, John Morrison, Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, Angel Garza, Kalisto, Bobby Roode, Dolph Ziggler, Elias, and Jeff Hardy. The first man to be eliminated was John Morrison by Dominic Mysterio, who had a very good showing. Dominic Mysterio and Chad Gable near the end of this match was phenomenal. Gable is Kurt Angle reincarnated, and Kurt Angle is not dead. And there is something about having that amateur background that really makes you a good grappler and a good wrestler. You know, the belly-to-belly suplexes that Chad Gable was using. He used like a trio of belly-to-belly suplexes. They were beautiful. And then, if I remember correctly, Dominic actually reversed one of these things into an arm drag. And just like it was great. Like Dominic's stuff was smooth. Chad Gable's stuff was smooth. I thought they were the last two guys. I actually forgot The Miz was still in the match. And then The Miz, Chad Gable got thrown out, which is really unfortunate. Everybody believed that Dominic would win, and then The Miz threw him over the top rope. So The Miz, Mr. Money in the Bank, won the dual brand battle royal for Raw to go up 1-0. But Dominic and Gable, I need more of that. Whatever they was doing, I need more of that. I need to sprinkle some more of that on everything. I'm all about that match. So the first match was the men's Survivor Series match, Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. This was a shutout for Team Raw, which I usually hate. And to be quite honest, this was the weakest match on the card, probably. For me, it was the weakest match on the card. Seth Rollins sacrificed himself, basically just got on his knees and took a brogue kick and just allowed himself to get pinned. He did nothing. He didn't want to do anything. He didn't look like he wanted to be there. He was the only one not wearing a Raw or SmackDown shirt. And he kept saying, like, this was for the greater good. I don't know what that meant. But he essentially sacrificed himself. The Otis, Keith Lee stuff was not good. I did not like the Otis and Keith Lee exchange. They were bouncing off of each other, but you got two guys. Otis has those T-Rex arms. So he was trying to, like, lift Keith Lee sometimes, and it just wasn't going to work. Now, they did a little bit better later in the match. I actually don't mind Otis. You know, I didn't like him. I liked Otis, then I didn't like Otis. Now I'm kind of like, okay, Otis is okay. But I didn't like he didn't have any chemistry with Keith Lee. Let's put it like that. Let's see, Kevin Owens was eliminated after he did a series of stunners to like Sheamus and Keith Lee and all them. Basically, once he started beating up everybody, that's a sure sign that you're going to get eliminated. And then he wasn't paying attention, and a phenomenal forearm caught him, and he got pinned. Riddle eliminated Corbin with the floating bro. Strowman pinned Otis with a running power slam. And Lee pinned Jey Uso with the spirit bomb, which was a great finish because Jey Uso fought valiantly by himself. He didn't back off. He didn't back down. He tried to fight everybody by himself. Of course, that doesn't make much sense to do that considering the caliber of talent on the Raw side. But I did enjoy this match. And what I enjoyed more is Roman Reigns talking to Jey Uso later in the show. Basically, Roman said that, you know, you guys lost because you couldn't control your team. You couldn't control your team because they don't fear you. They don't respect you. And if they don't fear you and respect you, then they don't fear or respect me. And if they don't fear or respect me, they don't fear or respect our family. He's putting so much responsibility and so much weight onto Jey Uso. And it was a great segment when Roman was just disgusted that Jey lost, even though he lost 5-on-1. You know, he was the last person on his team to get beat. And Roman still was like disgusted. And, you know, then he kicked him out of the arena, told him to leave. He had to leave the arena. So poor Jey Uso lost and then got kicked out. This match was probably the weakest match on the show. But it was still not bad. So Raw is up 2-0 at this point. And then we get this excellent match here. The Street Profits versus the New Day. this match was very good. The Street Profits are so good at being high energy. Like they're so high energy, high intensity, agile. Early in this match, you got to see how both teams, like you got to see the similarities between the teams, because you had Kofi in there with Montez Ford, and they're just kind of doing like they're doing agility stuff, drop downs and roll ups and all that type of stuff. And you had D'Angelo Dawkins, who it was really good for D'Angelo Dawkins. For some reason, it just made me feel good to see him, in this situation because, and then they hit the nail on the head because I couldn't be sure why I was so excited for D'Angelo Dawkins in particular to be in this position, and then somebody, I think it was Corey Graves or somebody, said that D'Angelo Dawkins was in NXT when Xavier Woods was in NXT. So that shows go like he's been there so long, that he was in NXT for so long, and now he's in a premier spot, wrestling against Xavier Woods, who has established himself as a top guy in WWE, and now D'Angelo Dawkins gets to establish himself as a top guy. But this was really good, for a face versus face match where nobody was cheating and everybody played it straight. This was excellent. It was exactly what I wanted it to be. It was really good stuff. Big E came out with a New Day, but he didn't stay, which makes sense. So New Day did kind of heal a little bit because they were kind of mocking this Street Profits. There was a lot of trash talking going back and forth, which I really enjoyed because it almost felt like a friendly basketball game, where there was a lot of friendly trash talking back and forth. It was really good. It was really dope. They worked Montez Ford's rib cage, which I thought was really cool too. And actually, they played into that later when he tried the frog splash. Because they had been working his rib cage, he couldn't really get the pinfall. So that was pretty cool. And I like that. Well, Montez Ford actually kicked out of the New Day's finish, which is the Midnight Hour. They have two finishes. They have a finish for each incarnation of the New Day. Let's put it like that. So, the Big E Xavier Woods or the Big E Kofi Kingston finish is the Midnight Hour, which is sort of the big ending with the DDT to it. And they actually explained like, oh yeah, he was able to kick out because it's usually Big E doing the Midnight Hour. So they kind of tried to explain away how he was able to kick out of their finish. And Street Profits actually just won, which was badass. And I love the show of respect at the end. It was excellent. The Street Profits said that they was coming to take the torch. It wasn't gonna be no passing of the torch. It was coming to take it, and they did. This match was excellent. I don't see what more could you have wanted, except for maybe a little bit more faster paced. You could have had these guys flipping and flying all over the place, but there was still some high flying stuff going on with Kofi doing some flying over the top rope, and of course Montez Ford, doing some leaps too. So there was still some of that, but it was a lot of good wrestling stuff. This is a great match. I'll probably watch it again. Sami Zayn versus Bobby Lashley was pretty. This was a weak match too. It was weak because Lashley was booked strong, and the Hurt Business came out with him. So all of Sami Zayn's attempts to cheat or to run away were blocked. You had, the other three members of the Hurt Business outside the ring. So if he's trying to get Lashley counted out, the other guys are helping him. He's trying to, cheat and take off the turnbuckles, and, Shelton Benjamin kind of stopped him from doing that. He tried to run away, and then MVP stopped him from doing that and threw him back in the ring. So it was essentially 4-on-1. They did a good job of protecting Sami Zayn in that respect, that he was forced to fight Lashley straight up, mano a mano, and then of course he wasn't physically able to do so. This was a weaker match on the card, but I still think it was okay. Sami Zayn is a fantastic personality. They're going with a conspiracy theorist story with Sami Zayn. I don't know what that means. I don't know what it means for him to be a conspiracy theorist. But I did like that Sami Zayn was just trying little tricks, like he pretended to have vertigo, so that the referee would cut him some slack, and then he would try to like sneak and roll up Bobby Lashley. So it was really cool. So that was cool. But most of Sami Zayn's tricks were kind of stomped out by the Hurt Business being around the ring. So we didn't really get a full, we didn't really get the full Sami Zayn experience. The mad scientist around the ring. We didn't really get that. We had to force Sami Zayn to fight Lashley straight up, and it just wasn't good enough. But so with Lashley's victory, Raw went up 3-1. So then next came Asuka versus Sasha Banks. This match was pretty good too. It was actually pretty slow at first. It was another babyface versus babyface match. So there was no cheating, but there was a lot of aggression. There was a lot of attempts at, a lot of decent strikes. Not a lot of super duper high spots, but it was pretty good. They had a great roll up, a bunch of roll ups and counters near the end, and Sasha Banks actually just stole one from Asuka. It was a really good roll up. I kind of figured Sasha Banks would win this match because she's sort of the star, so I kind of I kind of expected it to win. It didn't have the intensity of their previous matches. Basically just because Sasha Banks was a babyface and Asuka is also a babyface, but so it didn't have the intensity or the fire. But this was a pretty good match. It's not the best match they've had. I think they had a better match probably at SummerSlam than this, but it wasn't bad. This was not bad at all. It was fun near the end when they got to exchange some counters, exchange some holds. So that was pretty good. I would have liked to see this again maybe when Asuka turns heel. Then I think it'll be more fun. So with Sasha Banks winning, Raw went up 3-2. So then we had the Team Raw versus Team SmackDown women's match, and this match was crazy. Okay, this match was crazy because it wasn't a dominant performance by anybody. Everybody was, except for maybe Nia Jax. Nia Jax was just, she's like she was like a kidney stone in this match. She just took up so much space. And whenever she was in the ring, essentially she just did whatever she wanted to whoever she wanted to do it to. So, but previously in the night, we got to see Team SmackDown or Team Raw as they talked things out. And it was made very clear that Lana should not tag herself in, that she should not tag herself in, and she should not be tagged. Now, Lana was supposed to stay out of this match. And then, of course, what ends up happening early in the match is Lana tags herself in. She does some moves to like Natalya, and I think she did some stuff to Riot Squad or whatever. And then they forced her to tag out. And then Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax demanded that Lana stand on the stairs away from the ring apron, so she cannot be tagged in and cannot tag out. So from there, we had some pretty decent action. I think that it really kind of picked up a little bit later. Bayley was the first person eliminated. She was eliminated by Peyton Royce, which was so bizarre. Like, to give Peyton Royce that pin was really weird. Like, you would think that a head like Bayley should go to somebody else. But maybe they're going to do something special with Peyton Royce. That's why they gave her the pin over Bayley. I was legit surprised that I saw Bayley get beat by Nia Jax. And Natalya, she submitted Peyton Royce in a sharpshooter. Lacey Evans pinned Natalya with the woman's right. Ruby Riott got choked out by Shayna Baszler. Liv Morgan pinned Lacey Evans with a crucifix bomb. Nia Jax pinned Liv Morgan with the Samoan drop. And, but the Riot Squad did a really good in this match. Especially when they were fighting Nia Jax. They made a really good team effort, as far as going back and forth, really working on Nia, trying to wear her down. And Bianca Belair was amazing, especially when she was by herself. It was Bianca Belair versus Lana, Shayna Baszler, and Nia Jax. And it was phenomenal when Bianca Belair was in there with Nia Jax. I wanted to see her do some stuff to Nia Jax, maybe that people wouldn't expect, like for her to body slam Nia Jax or pick her up and was able to do something to her. They didn't really do anything like that, but they did a great job of really getting over Bianca Belair in this situation, because what they ended up doing is Shayna Baszler put her in the Karafuda clutch. And Bianca Belair was able to fight through it and fell onto the ropes. Shayna Baszler would not release the hold, and she got disqualified. So Shayna Baszler was out, but Bianca Belair had been essentially choked unconscious, or almost choked, nearly unconscious, by Shayna Baszler. So it pretty much left Nia Jax and Bianca Belair alone. They ended up outside the ring where Bianca Belair tried to fight off Nia Jax, and I think Nia Jax was trying to put her through a table and some more stuff. And then the two of them got counted out because they were outside the ring, and Bianca Belair kind of back body dropped Shayna over into the LED boards, and she was just about to get back into the ring, but she was just a little too late. And therefore, Lana won the match as the sole survivor. And it was noted that Lana was the only member of her team that actually earned her spot. Lana was the only person who actually won a match to get into this match. And she won by herself. And all she did was stand on the stairs for like 20 minutes. Oh, my God. I think most people knew that Lana was going to win or, was going to be the sole survivor. It was just about how we were going to get there. I think I called Bianca Belair getting counted out because the story going into the match was about Lana. So, yeah, it had to be Lana had to win. Let's put it like that. So if you're upset that Bianca Belair lost, I feel you. Because I really would have liked for Bianca Belair to straight up pin Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. And then maybe you would have had Nia Jax put Bianca Belair through a table and Lana wins by count out or something like that. Like that would have been cool. But I don't mind what they did. They didn't really need to protect Nia Jax, but they did it anyway. And they did it. They did these things in a way where it wasn't an embarrassment. It didn't make anybody look like shit. It's just that everybody forgot Lana was out there. That's pretty much what happened. Everybody forgot Lana was there. And because she was forced to stand on the ring apron. But this match was oddly enough, it was better than the men's match, but it wasn't really all that great. The Survivor Series matches were not that good. If we're being honest, they made some weird elimination decisions. Like I said, that Peyton Royce Bailey thing was real weird. But I didn't hate it. I didn't hate this match. It was okay. I liked how they handled the Shayna Baszler and the Nia Jax part. And I liked the Riot Squad when they was participating and they were really getting busy on Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. I really liked that stuff. There's nothing to hate, but it was pretty run of the mill, pretty standard. And this match was badass. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. At this point, Raw was up 4-2, and we went into this match, and it was one of the stories going into it was that Drew McIntyre had never beaten Roman Reigns before. And I believe their last big match was WrestleMania 35. Yeah, I believe it was WrestleMania 35 was their last big match. And this match was essentially Roman Reigns being incredibly dominant, being really physical, and them telling the story of how valiant and tough Drew McIntyre is by the amount of damage that he could absorb. There were some really cool spots, the Roman Reigns, the spear got reversed into a Kimura. And I liked it. I liked that particularly because it ended up Roman selling the arm pretty much for the rest of the match. So it was kind of like once he kind of opened that bar as far as, him having that hold on Roman kind of was affected the rest of the match by it. Also like that, the Superman punch got reversed into the Future Shock DDT, which was pretty cool as well. Reigns kind of got unhinged a little bit later in the match, and that's when he started being a little bit more vicious. The Samoan drop through the table, the spear through the wall. Both for 2 counts. And then you had, McIntyre kicking out. McIntyre just would not stay down. He kept coming back, and then one of the spears was reversed into a Claymore kick, in which the ref got knocked down. And then Jey Uso returned. Jey Uso ran back to the ring, and, McIntyre bumped him at first, knocked him down. He saw him, knocked him down. And then, Roman with the low blow on McIntyre. Jey Uso with the super kick. And while he was staggering, Roman put him in the guillotine choke. And that was the finish. Roman choked out Drew McIntyre with the guillotine choke. And it was excellent. It was a little slow. but it was very hard hitting. It was exactly what you would expect between these two guys. It was a worthy main event. It was fantastic. It was very good. Um, and I definitely enjoyed the hell out of this thing. At the end, Roman Reigns accepted Jey Uso's help and his initiative by giving him a hug, and Drew McIntyre was pretty pissed at the whole 9 yards. He was pretty pissed. I'm surprised he didn't go with the Miz trying to cash in here, because Drew McIntyre was choked out. And it seemed like a prime time for the Miz to come out of nowhere and say, okay, while he's choked out, to try to cash in the Money in the Bank. But I'm glad they didn't, because we got that good visual of McIntyre waking up and seething at Jey Uso and Roman Reigns and how they have screwed him. But knowing that he's likely not to get his hands on them anytime soon. So it was a good match. Best match on the show, obviously. This match and the tag team match, the New Day versus Street Profits, the best matches on the show, no doubt. So Raw wins the Survivor Series 4-3. And then we had the Undertaker 30-year anniversary, where we had a lot of entrances. A lot of people came to the ring. It was Shane McMahon, Big Show, JBL, Jeff Hardy, Mick Foley, The Godfather. The Godwins actually came. I was so surprised. Like, that was a surprise for me, man. I was like, wow. I was like, wow. The Godwins. I'm surprised those guys. Savio Vega was also a big surprise for me, even though I knew he was going to be there. Rikishi, Kevin Nash, Booker T, HBK, Ric Flair, Triple H, Kane, and Mr. McMahon. And Vince McMahon, they had this really great video package for The Undertaker. I believe it was Metallica. They played for the video package. And then Vince McMahon did a sort of a eulogy speech where he talked about, and his voice was really tired. Like, Vince McMahon is like 60, like not 60, he's like 76 or something like that, 75, 76. He's almost 80. So he had like a really tired and emotional voice. He was clearly, emotional. He was clearly sad at this occasion. But despite the fact that all these people came to the ring, none of them were there when Vince came to the ring. Nobody left. There was nobody there. There was no big hug and send off or nothing like that. It just basically people came to the ring, and I don't know if they were still out there or what was going on, but Vince basically did this speech where he talked about the legacy of the Undertaker being eternal, which is really nice. And then he introduced the Undertaker to the ring. Undertaker had the ring to himself. Nobody else was there. And he says that, for 30 years he took that long walk. And now it's time to let the Undertaker rest in peace. And they kind of really, drew that out, because there was a lot of that piped in "Thank you, Taker." I'm not so sure if it was how piped in it was, because I don't know how the Thunderdome works. Like, I don't know how the Thunderdome works as far as like live sound. I'm sure some of that stuff was piped in. And it could also have been people outside the ring, but it was meaningful. We got to see him do his entrance one more time. We got to hear him talk, basically saying, hey, this is it. This is the last time I'm putting on this stuff. Kane came out in full gimmick, though. He was the only one that came out. Well, I guess the Godwins came out in gimmick. And I guess the Godfather also came out in gimmick. But Kane came out in full gimmick, which was really weird. But it was nice. The video package was fantastic. It wasn't, I don't think his farewell was as good as the Flair farewell or the Shawn Michaels one. I think that Shawn and Flair, probably because they had crowds, that, it was a lot more emotional, a lot deeper. Maybe they'll probably do another one when the crowds come back. They'll do another Undertaker farewell, even though they said this was the final one. But his farewell was not nearly as emotional as Ric Flair's or Shawn Michaels, and that's because of lack of crowd. And, but it was still pretty good. He put together a badass video package. Some of his friends got to be there. He didn't break character, so he didn't go out there as himself and shake hands and laugh and all that type of stuff, which is kind of what I wanted to see. But it was nice. But that's it. That's Survivor Series 2020. What did you guys think? Let me know what you guys thought. I think that the show was a solid 7.5. Again, the Street Profits versus the New Day was really good. Reigns and Drew McIntyre, really good. Everything else ranged between and okay. The men's Money in the Bank men's Survivor Series match was not that good. Zayn versus Lashley wasn't really all that either. But the two women's matches were pretty good, were okay. Asuka and Banks, was probably the third best match of the night, which it's not that difficult to do, to be honest. But I was actually far more interested in the Battle Royal because of the Gable, Dominic Mysterio stuff. That alone really kind of... So if you can get a chance to watch that Battle Royal, watch the Battle Royal. Battle Royal is fun. Okay, the Gable and Dominic stuff was fun. And to me, that was sort of like, really good. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll talk to you guys later.